Welcome to another lecture series in environmental science and sustainability. Here we discuss ecosystem structure and energy flow. So what is ecosystem structure and what is energy flow? Ecosystems are complex networks of organisms interacting with the environment, and energy flow are the energies which move from one organism to another organism. We can classify them as food chain or food web. So ecosystem is nothing but which involves two components. One is biotic factor, another one is abiotic factor. The biotic factors are living components such as plants, animals, and microorganisms that interact with each other. And abiotic factors are non-living elements such as sunlight, water, climate, which influence the organisms. And the energy factor which travels from one biotic to another biotic, that is, a plant is being taken by the animal, and the energy from the plant will flow through the animals. And where the plant get the energy, they get the energy from sunlight. So like that it flows. And the tropics level means the layers where producers, consumers, decomposers, etc., where the energy flows. From the producers, consumers takes the energy, and once the consumer has been dead or happened something, it undergoes the decomposition, and decomposers will decompose the things and take the energy. So ecosystem components are classified into three aspects. One is biotic factor, abiotic factors, and trophic level. So how the energy flow in the ecosystem takes place? The first basic energy flow is through photosynthesis. That is the process where the producers, that is plants, will convert sunlight into a chemical energy and produces the starch. The food chain is a linear representation of energy flow between the trophic levels when a when a goat, or we call it as a carnivores, herbivores take the plant. The energy from the plant will go to the consumer at the first level of the consumer. Then it is taken by a human being or some other animal. Then energy flows like a food chain. And what is a food web? It is a complex interconnection among the multiple energy pathway. That is, a grasshopper takes the grass, and suddenly a frog will come there, snake will come there, and the food chain will be developed into a food web. So, understanding the energy flow in an ecosystem is essential to grasp how the various organisms can interact with each other. So, energy is captured by the producer and is transferred to the different levels, and the complex relationship that maintain the ecosystem stability. So, that is maintained by photosynthesis, food chain, and food webs. What is energy efficiency and the loss? So we know the thermodynamics law in which the energy cannot be neither created nor destroyed. One form of energy completely converted to another form of energy, and this is not happens in the real aspect because the first law of thermodynamics fails, where 100% of energy is not possible to transfer. So a 10% rule indicates that the energy decreases at each trophic level, while energy pyramid illustrates this diminishing energy at least 10% at every stage. Because decomposers plays a vital role in recycling the nutrients and ensuring energy flow continuity. So 10% rule, what is only about 10% of energy at one trophic level is transferred to the next topic level. What happens to 90%? 90% is spent by those animals or something for their activity. So an energy pyramid is like a pyramid-like structure which represents a visual representation of a pyramid-like structure where in which energy decreases from bottom to up. Then the decomposer role. The decomposers recycle nutrient back into its ecosystem, maintaining the energy flow. So decomposer role is to decompose the things. So what is the human impact? The human impact on ecosystem. There are three impacts we can classify in an ecosystem, where in which the habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change. The habitat destruction is one aspect because, like deforestation and urbanization, we disturb the ecosystem, we clear the forest and lands, which loses the biodiversity and alters the energy flow. The next one is pollution, introducing a new pollutants in soil, water, air, and everywhere. The biotic and abiotic components get affected. And due to this pollution, there is an alteration in temperature and rainfall, which means precipitation patterns, and it affects the energy flow between the species, and it involves in the disturbance of the species distribution. And the conservation effects. How can we conserve this? We can do the conservation in three aspects. One is we creating a protected area and doing a sustainable practices, and restoration projects has to be done. So what is protected area? We have to create a reserved forest, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves, so that establishing these will help to protect the environment from human interference. That is daily human activities like hunting, gathering, like that. And sustainable practices. What is a sustainable practice? That is implementing the sustainable agricultural, like organic farming, and reducing the fertilizers and pesticides, which creates a very good, healthy environment for the ecosystem to develop, so that we keep the environment to the next generation. And restoration project, wherever the degradation happens. So we have to reinitiate the natural biodiversity there. So the biodiversity should be recreated there, so that the restoration project will help the ecosystem to refresh itself. And what are the importance of the ecosystem structure and energy flow? So, which means ecosystem structure and energy flow are the fundamental concepts in the ecology, where in which conservation and sustainable management of natural resources can be understood here. So, protecting the ecosystem is essential for maintaining the health of our planet and supporting human life. So, here we have ecosystem structure, energy flow, health of our planet, conservation and management should be taken care. Ecosystem structure is like from producers, consumers. Consumers can be classified into carnivores, herbivores, detritivores, like that. Energy flow. The energy flow can happen in the chain or in a web. Conservation and management should be happened like using these protected areas, sustainable practice and restoration projects. And the health of our planet should be ensured by our day-to-day sustainable practices. So I suggest the students to go and refer some scientific literature regarding the ecology and the energy flow informations, and the key resources and journals like Yojana, Kurukshetra, the central government journals, which which will publish certain articles on the acts and laws and international agreements regarding the conservation of ecologies, and also study the Ministry of Forestry and Ministry of Environment to understand the regular functioning of the government in this the conservation of ecosystems. Thank you.